What's up, guys? So I've been wanting to make a video about the Order 1886 since for a long time now, and it's been past due because at first I didn't have that much to say because it was like there's nothing, I didn't know much about it. It was just that Game Informer magazine. If you guys haven't seen that video, check it out. I'll link it here. I go into detail about the specifics of the Order 1886 and what the game is pretty much about. So if you are confused about it, or you're just like, I don't even know what the hell it's about, watch that video, because I do go into the details. I'm going to talk a little bit about it here, but I think what I want to talk more about in this video is kind of my my experience with Ready at Dawn, the developers, as well as my thoughts on the demos shown at E3. I got to play one of the demos along with other stuff, thoughts on the game in general. So before E3, I hope they're okay with me saying this, but I got an email from somebody from Ready at Dawn. I literally was like, you gotta be kidding, this is not real. I mean, for those of you that don't know, that didn't watch my video, my previous Order video, this is one of my most anticipated games of 2015, and it's one of the reasons why I got a PS4. It's the game that sold the PS4 for me. I got the email and I'm just staring at it for a while. I'm like, this is not real. Did my research like I always do when I get emails like that, and it was real. Like, it was legit, and I'm like, oh my god. I'm not gonna go into the details, but I had been in contact with this person from Ready at Dawn, like saying, we want you to be at E3, we want to show the game to you and all that stuff. He also told me that they had seen my video and that they loved it, and I'm like, oh my god. You know, when developers go out of their way to do this, to reach out to gamers, it says something about them, because not all developers do that. Sure, you might say, oh, it's marketing. They're just trying to market their game. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, obviously, you know, I'm on YouTube. People see me. A bunch of people see me, whatever. I'm not super famous. I mean, come on. let's be real here. I'm not super famous. So it's like they could have gone to somebody way bigger than me. But they chose me. And that meant a lot to me. And even more so when they found out about my mom, that she was sick, that during that time that she was in the hospital and all that. And it was a bad time. Out of nowhere, I receive flowers. Ready at Dawn sent me flowers for my mom and like get well wishes and stuff. I was legitimately crying because I was like, it was in such a hard moment that a developer that I look up to, that is making a game that I'm like super excited about, sends me flowers. And I'm like, it was so much for me to handle in that moment. I was like, oh my god. And then I went to E3 and I met these guys. I didn't meet everybody. I wish I had. I didn't meet the guy that I had been talking to through email. And I didn't meet a lot of the bigger guys. But I met a lot of the team that is actually working on the Order. And these people, I was blown away. I was literally in like this state of shock the whole time. I was like, is this real life? One of them was saying that my video kept them going. Like, when they felt tired, he would just put my video on like loud at night, and everyone in from the team was saying that they could just hear my video a lot coming from his computer, and that it would just fuel them, and it would remind them why they're doing this, and it would get them going again. And I'm like, oh my god, it was so meaningful to me. They completely overpassed my what I thought Ready at Dawn was. Like, I mean, I knew who Ready at Dawn was, but before the Order 1886, I just knew about them. I never thought that they were these guys, these passionate guys, talented, hardworking, dedicated, and that they connect with their audience. They want to know what gamers want. They want to know what we think. And I'm telling you guys this not to like brag or whatever. You guys, those of you that have followed me for a long time, you guys know that that's not my style. I'm telling you guys this because I think as important as it is to inform you guys about games, I feel it's also important to talk about the developers as well, especially when I get to know them, because I'm like, people need to know how much they are working on this and how genuine they are. That's what I want you guys to know. Whatever you think about the game, they are Ready at Dawn. The guys that work there, and I met a lot of them, they're legit, and they made my E3 experience something that I never thought it would ever be.
Where? Anywhere? Wherever?
Right next to it. Right up there. Simon. Now say a few words.
You guys are awesome.
Yeah.
So let me get to the demo. I played this demo. The booth was awesome. The booth was like, it looked like Whitechapel, the Whitechapel location in the Order 1886. It was located in the Sony booth, obviously. So when I got there, I met one of the PR guys that I had been talking to through email after the other guy that I was talking about that I didn't get to meet. They were like, oh, look at the Galahad, you know, it's a big Galahad. Kind of like those wax life-size figures that you see in like the wax museums. He looked like a guy. Like, it literally looked like Galahad was there. Like, he was a person, and he was in the line where the line was, where people were playing the demo. He was just standing there, and it was like, oh my god, he looks so real. They're like, come here, you want to see him close up? And I go in there, and I'm like standing right in front of Galahad, and the first thing I do,
Wow.
the guy was like, no, don't touch him. I'm like, so after that, they take me inside to play the demo, and I was shaking. I was like, oh my god, I'm actually gonna play the Order 1886. Sit down, and I'm like, oh my god. And I turn around, and they're all standing there like, and the game just took me in. I was really nervous first. Freaking Ready at Dawn is looking at me right now playing their game. But once I put those headphones on and I grabbed that controller and I looked at that screen, that was it. Like, I was in the zone. I wasn't even that good at it because, first of all, I'm still learning the PS4 controller, and second of all, it's like any new game, right? You have to learn, you know, what button is to shoot, what button is to reload, all that stuff. And they pretty much toss you right into the action. It's that scene where you're just like shooting. You're with the thermite. The thermite. What's it called? It was the thermite gun. That gun. Oh my god. The sound. I am automatically just attracted by sounds, and the sound that this gun makes, even from the get-go, from that first trailer, that and then it tosses that fire and it just goes. Not knowing the controls and then being tossed into the action and trying to learn the controls right there in the action and trying not to get killed was kind of hard, but at the same time, like, I kept on messing up because the thermite gun, I believe it was you were using the trigger and the bumper. One of them was to shoot the thermite or whatever, the zzz. It was to shoot that first, and then you would shoot with the, I think it was the trigger. It would shoot the fire. A lot of people, when they saw the demo, they were like, oh my god, this looks like Gears of War. And as much as I'm like, okay, yeah, it looks like Gears of War because it's the over-the-shoulder look that you get in Gears of War when you zoom in and all that, and you're fighting. It's that same look, but it doesn't feel like Gears of War at all. Because in Gears of War, it's very much like, you know, run, and roll. It's faster. Gears of War is a lot faster than the Order 1886. And I want you guys to remember that. It's faster. The Order 1886, even though there's action going on, I don't want to say it's slower, but it's more, you should take your time more. Like, it's more of like it's a game where you should be in it. It's not just like, oh, run. It's the type of game where you wanna stay behind. And I tried it. I was like, I'm gonna try right now. I'm gonna just freaking bum rush it. I just like ran out of cover and I ran in the street because I wanted to see what was gonna happen. I was like, I want to see if I want to see how challenging this is if I just run out in the street. And I did that. I ran out of cover and I just ran in the street, and I was already like getting shot and like going down, and like I'm like, oh my god. So I had to go back in cover. So I was like, all right, it's a slower paced game, and by slower I mean you should take your time. This demo was shown to the public, so my goal here is not so much to tell you guys what the demo was about. It's more to tell you what it felt like. You could also use different guns. At first it took me a while to realize how to change guns, and you could change to, I was able to change to this pistol. A really cool move that they do, I can't remember what it's called. Because of the black water that they drink, which is this little vial that they carry around their neck, all the knights of the order that they drink whenever they get hurt and they heal. I mean, it doesn't heal them 100%. It's not like freaking holy water and they're like, oh. One of the devs was like, it's kind of like a band-aid, like a big band-aid. And that made sense. I was like, okay, you know, when you put a band-aid, it's not like the wound is gone. It's not like, oh man, I feel so much better now. It just stops the bleeding. It keeps it safe, right? But some of the effects of the black water is this ability that you get, which is kind of like bullet time, where things kind of slow down and you could shoot guys and stuff like that. Like it all just slows down and it kind of goes into like black and white. They finally revealed the transformation process. They called them the half-breeds, but now they're lichens. And for those of you who don't know what lichens are, oh my god, they're werewolves. I was watching an interview of one of the developers that they were saying that, but they're lichens, they're werewolves that they wanted to make them believable. So it's like, oh, werewolves aren't real, but they want you to look at these and be like, okay, that's what a werewolf would look like in real life. Now, you guys know me that I absolutely adore games with strong character development. That's one of the biggest reasons why I'm so excited about this game, is because of the theme. Again, watch that video so that you guys understand my love of the theme. The whole gothic werewolves retelling of this London that's just crazy and like steampunk, and it's like back in 1886, but it's actually with freaking awesome weapons that actually glow with electricity and monoculars and flying blimps and steam blimps and oh, dude. But also the characters. I'm already in love with the characters. There's 4 characters: Galahad, Igraine, Percival, and Lafayette. And the best thing is that you actually fight with them. You're in like a party with them. They're saying that they want to focus on that on telling a story, on the character development. And a lot of people sometimes get turned off when they hear that because they're like, oh, it's linear. So many amazing games out there are linear. You guys can't forget about that. Now, I understand personal preferences, but you can't judge a game by saying linear equals bad. The Last of Us is a linear game. I was talking to someone. Red Dead Redemption is a linear game. I don't care if it's set in an open world. I don't care if you could do this side quest here and there, but the story, that story is linear. There is no changing that story. They're telling a story. It's not open-ended. You don't have like 50 different endings. The Order is linear. They're telling a story. And this story sounds like an amazing one to me. And again, I don't know if it's because of my attraction to the theme, to Gothic, that Gothic feel, to the werewolves, to the knights of the round table. Just the way they freaking look. It's like, oh my god. I could already tell this guy's got an awesome background. Or this girl, dude, Igraine, and the relationship that she's gonna have with Galahad, and how there's like this almost forbidden love thing going on there, and I'm like, and I mean Lafayette, he's like a rookie, and he's like all like, come on, like gun ho, like let's do this, you know. He's the guy that's gonna get you killed because he runs out there and be like, yeah, what's up, yo. I love playing games with so many personalities, and I don't know if it's because of that side of me that I love writing characters. I love creating characters. I don't know if that's probably why. So that demo was not that long, but I had a good taste of the pace, the weapons as well, and also the combat, the way that it works, and the way that it looks. It runs very well. And I think I'm going to start getting into the whole issue of the 60 frames per second versus 30 frames per second. This is what I was talking about the other day. That's why I was like, the video isn't going to be about which one's better and which one's not. Ready at Dawn decided to go 30 frames per second with The Order instead of 60. And people were like, what? 60 frames per second is a big deal for PCs. For PC gamers, yeah. I'm not a PC gamer, I'm a console gamer. If I had money, I would definitely get a PC. If I had space, I would get a PC. But I mean, this game is a PS4 exclusive. It's not for the PC. It's only for the PS4. So consoles are just I mean, the Xbox One just barely released a video, like their first video of Titanfall in 60 frames per second. I believe that they decided to go 30 frames per second because of the pacing of the game, and also because of the feeling they want, obviously, because they keep saying that they want to give a cinematic experience. 30 frames per second allows you to put a little bit more, like you could see more detail if you're going slower. Like kind of like in movies. 60 frames per second is for those games that are like freaking Titanfall and like faster, where you're just like moving all over the place and you're shooting, and like, you know, like first person shooters or faster paced games where you're running and it's like, oh yeah, I could totally tell like the fluidity of this, and I'm like running over that corner like a bouse now. But in slower paced games, it's like you don't really need the 60 frames per second. It's not going to make that much difference because you're going slower anyways. And I'm pretty sure they did it on purpose because they want to tell the story. It's more about the story. They want you to focus on the story. They want you to see those details. They want you to see the creepiness of the environment around you. That's the other demo, the second demo. I saw that one as well. That's the one that they showed in the Sony press conference. I saw it slightly extended. So it wasn't just that one, it was slightly extended. That demo, I think, does a way better job of showing what the game is about. The awesome thing about that demo was that it's just Galahad and he's walking down this corridor. It was a like an abandoned hospital or something like that. And Galahad is alone in this situation, and he is alone every now and then. He's usually accompanied by the rest of the knights, or sometimes just one other knight. They'll split up. And I'm telling you guys this, the whole 30 frames per second thing for this game, specifically for this game, trust me, so many people are making it such a huge deal and like, oh, I'm not gonna get it anymore because of that. That's the least of its issues. And I was like, could you walk faster? And they're like, no, like that's not the point. Like the point is to look. You really get that creep factor. You really feel it. That is the point to the Order. That's the point to the reason why they want to make it cinematic. The reason why they want to make the lens feel like it's cinematic. The reason why they're going over the shoulder, because it's like you're coming with us. And the reason why they're going slower and they're putting more details on everything so that you could feel it and not just run right past it. So they're walking, right? And they look into the doors and the windows and they're like, whoosh, and they look into the cells or the rooms of these patients, and there's like freaking patients on the ground, and you're just like, that, shh. I was like, man, something's gonna freaking jump out right now. I was so creeped out. The jars on the shelves, and there's like freaking heads and like fingers and stuff in there, and you're just like, has this ever happened to you where you're walking in the dark and all of a sudden you just feel like something is gonna come out at you or something's following you? I feel that so many times and I just like run back into my room. That's kind of how it felt. And the noises, and you're like, oh my god. And then he sees the lichen. He sees that guy on the floor like eating something, and you're like, oh my god. And he turns into this big thing, and then the action starts like going faster. But even then, you don't notice you don't notice it, especially because these fast-paced situations are usually cinematics. And when you have to react, it's just like, oh my god. It's like this, you better freaking react now. And you're like, oh my god, I don't know what to do. And the cool thing about that scene where the guy turns into the lichen, you could see that it's a human and it actually talks. That's what was creepy. And what was even more scary to me, where I was like, Galahad is this freaking trained knight. You play as Galahad, an expert tracker and hunter whose instincts and skills developed over the years fighting half-breeds are legendary among members of the Order. Jaded and numb to the violence he's witnessed day to day, Galahad is world-weary with a calm, cool, professional demeanor. After reading that and then seeing him, how freaking terrified he was seeing that lichen, just that gives you a taste of the feeling of the game, a taste of what it's going to be like going up against these things. It's not just like, oh, I got this down, like no worries, I got my black water right here, no worries. Like he struggled, he got thrown across the room and he got hurt, he hid, because he was alone, where he's like, I cannot take this thing alone. There is consequences if you're hurt and it's like the lichens out there and you're just like, ooh, what's this? The lichen will come up and hit you and kill you. They have their moments for their moments. They want you to feel the danger of that lichen. I think the reason why they're making it so cinematic is because they want you to see that danger. They want you to see that lichen, not just like, oh, there's the lichen over there, let me shoot it. Or it's like, okay, I aim to the enemy. Sometimes you can't even see the freaking enemy. It's like all over there. It's like, oh, I'm gonna snipe his freaking head off right now. Because that doesn't give you that feeling of like, oh my god, I gotta freaking hide because this thing's gonna bite my head off. No, it's like now they're zooming close into it and showing you that it's actually touching your blood and smelling it and being like, I smell you, human. That's why I think they have the whole cutscene gameplay, cutscene, gameplay, cutscene, gameplay. Because they're adding to that. My initial thought was that, isn't that kind of taking away from the immersion? Like in other games, whenever they did that, like Beyond Two Souls, I hate comparing it to Beyond Two Souls because I did not like that game. It had its goods, but it had more bads for me. I was kind of concerned about that when I saw that with the Order. I was like, but after I started thinking about it, I was like, the point to the Order isn't for you to feel like Galahad. You're not Galahad. That's what they want you. They're telling you a story about Galahad. You're not Galahad. They want you to follow Galahad over to the shoulder. You're following Galahad. Sure, you control him and all that. It wouldn't be a game if you didn't. You know, you're in control of Galahad, but you're not Galahad. And they're reminding you of that every moment because they put cutscenes in there and they're like, oh my god, look what's going to happen to Galahad, you know, and it's like, and then they put you into it and it's like, go, do something. Still, you should be so in the moment of watching this going on, you shouldn't even notice it. Right now, I'm telling you about this because I was analyzing it afterwards. And I was like, oh, I don't know. But in the moment, I didn't even notice it. Especially because gameplay and cinematics are one. They do not look different. They're the same. Exactly the same. I kid you not. There is no difference. And there's no loading. Nothing. It was just like, it was flawless. It was just all happening at the same time. Gameplay, cutscene. So you didn't even notice it. It almost made you feel like you were there more so than it cut immersion. No, it didn't. I was standing right there and I was like, when the werewolf jumps at you, I even went, oh my god. It was legit reaction. This is kind of taking some ideas that Beyond Two Souls had, and also in the combat, because the combat, aside from weapons, using weapons, you could also do hand-to-hand combat. It's kind of like QTEs, and they show that in the demo as well. In one of the demos, I didn't see this demo, it shows Galahad, and it also talked about this in the Game Informer magazine, where the Galahad's fighting with this guy. It goes kind of like in Beyond Two Souls, where it goes kind of slow, like in slow motion, and it goes almost black and white. And you're just like given this moment to think, but this time to look at what you want to get, like around the environment. Like, do you want to get the chair? Do you want to hit the guy with what? With the bottle? And whatever you look at and you grab and you hit the guy. QTE interaction with the environment. I don't know how it's going to feel with the pacing. I'm not a big fan of the whole like going in slow motion though. You know, kind of like Matrix or something. But I'm not going to be like, oh, I don't want to play the game. It looks stupid. I don't like that. I want to try it. So with what I saw at E3, I'm even more excited. People are so concerned about this whole 30 frames per second. And some people were actually going as far as saying, I'm not going to play it. No, that's stupid. 30 frames per second? That's stupid. I mean, just look at it. That's in-game. All the demo they were showing, that's in-game. It was playing on a PS4. I played it on a PS4. It plays awesome. It looks awesome. The story sounds... That's what's selling it to me. The story, the feeling of it, the ambience, that creepiness, the characters. And they talk to each other. They form relationships with each other, different ones. Like Galahad and Percival. Percival's like this... Dude, let me read you Percival. Percival, so far, is my favorite. Galahad as well, but Percival, dude, look at this picture of him, man. He's like... So... Sir Percival is a mentor and longtime friend of Galahad, and one of the few knights who can match Galahad's strength and ability. One of the eldest knights in the order, he commands everyone's respect and is ready to work outside the bounds of the law when a situation calls for it. I love his voice. There's this demo, or this one thing they showed a while back that I saw online. It was the one where they showed the combat, the hand-to-hand combat, and the guy is like got the upper hand on Galahad, and Percival shoots the guy, and Percival comes in and he looks at him.
Stop for a pint, did you?
I love that. Galahad has some of the best puns. I was dying the other day. You guys have to see this. I must ask you a question. It's perfect. It was perfect. You Galahad me at hello. Love it. And the girl that did it actually is working on the Order 1886, so it's like, oh, perfect. That's pretty much all I have to say when it comes to that. I could go on for hours talking about this, which is why I'm going to split up videos talking about different things where I go more into the characters, because Ready at Dawn is starting to release a lot of information, which I was like, ooh, my precious. So make sure to follow Ready at Dawn on Twitter, because they are revealing some stuff like on the Lycan and doing like interviews. And now they just asked like, who do you want to know more about when it comes to the Order, the Knights? And I was like, oh, they're starting to like get more involved on Twitter, which is awesome. I hope you guys have a better understanding of what the game is about. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. That's pretty much it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you guys later.